8 years ago, Chloe Ayling was victim of a horrific kidnapping that made headlines across the world. And tonight, in a new documentary, she's sharing her shocking ordeal and revealing how she has coped with not being believed, even after the men who held her captive were found guilty.
I've been through a terrifying experience. I feared for my life, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour.
Italian police believe the model was attacked and drugged.
Doctor is allegedly asking for more than $300,000 to stop them from selling her as a sex slave.
It must have been almost unbelievable.
Do you think some doubted you because of the way you looked there?
Too happy, too composed, too relaxed.
And no answers to the growing questions.
Why Chloe was seen shopping with her captor before she was freed.
So brushed it off. Is that a euphemism for lying by omission?
Like, still to this day, 8 years on, it's the same accusation.
Well, the documentary starts tonight and Chloe joins us now. Good morning, Chloe. Good to see you again after all these years when we last spoke. There is no doubt your story captivated the nation and indeed the world back in 2017. Still does today. Why was it so important for you to retell your story, to relive some of those horrific experiences for this documentary at this stage of your life? Why did you want to do it?
I feel like it was always left on a bad note of people not believing me and believing the media. So I never got that vindication. I thought it would come from the conviction, but that never happened. So I only first got my taste of that after the drama. I received hundreds of positive messages saying how I've inspired people and even like motivated them to come forward about their own abuse, and that was really nice to hear. Like, I'd never had anything positive like that before. So that's why I always just wanted all the facts to be out there, to hear from people like the Italian police, the investigators. All of those people were never interviewed before, so they were very like overpowered by people speculating, and that's how it always had been.
Yeah, and this is your story in your words. So for the first time, really, it's not he said, she said, this is you. But I can imagine it was a very tough experience to have to revisit.
I thought it would be easy. I honestly thought it would be a breeze because I have no trouble like recounting events, but the director was so good at going into the why, the psychology, the feelings, the thoughts behind everything, and that is what I struggled with the most. Like, I'm really not good at talking about my feelings, and, you know, I had to be put back into that spot. Like, what did you last smell? What was in the air, like, at this moment? And I had to just relive it again. And that's what got me emotional about things I'd never been emotional about before. So that was really hard for me.
Yeah. I mean, it was such an extraordinary story, really, when you look at all of the details, Chloe. I mean, the kidnapping, a $300,000 ransom for your release, what we believed to have been an international crime gang, and the police in the UK and Milan, indeed, not really having any leads at that point. And we saw this, or we watched this in documentary, but it all did sound like a thriller movie. And in fact, then that became the problem at the end, because it almost sounded like this is just not real. And you then had to face so many different accusations and questions about what happened afterwards. Do you process it all now differently? Because it did affect you terribly. In fact, in the documentary, you say the aftermath was worse than the ordeal.
Yeah, I think it was really the perfect media storm. It's like I was constantly having to talk about his crazy decisions and explain them as if they were my own. Then my job connected with publicity, then how I look, how I dress, that I was too calm. But it was my calmness that saved me from the kidnap itself, and it backfired in the media. So. Well,
you talk about your calmness, and you explain as well how that is just who you are. You might be different behind closed doors in moments, but you are just very composed, very calm, and you kind of just, that's how you are, that's how you work through life. And in fact, even your kidnapper said it to you. They thought you were going to be hysterical, and they asked, why weren't you? And you were able to compose yourself. But you turned that into this sort of weird superpower, because there was a shift then in the balance between you and this man that you knew as MD who had kidnapped you. And you used that to get yourself out of there.
Yeah.
But it's hard to explain that to people, I think, isn't it? Because it's
yeah.
those images when we see you having gone shopping and sort of looking like you're happy to sort of be there, which you clearly weren't.
Yeah.
But that's the bit that you had to try and explain to everyone else, isn't
Yeah,
it?
because that's the point. I had to get him on side to be able to get out. And when I just saw his face light up, that's how I knew I was going to like go forward with that. I didn't have to suffer any sexual abuse during the time because I postponed it to the future, and that is how I was able to get out, and it really helped me.
I mean, there was so much sort of criticism over your clothing choices and how you spoke afterwards. Again, I guess you just feel like this is all part of that chapter that you're very willing now to shut. This documentary is your final word. Do you feel like you have moved on to a new place in your life now?
Yeah, I feel like I really just want to show people that a victim doesn't have to fit in a typical box to be believed. Like, you can react however you want. Cases are more complex than you've been through trauma, you have to be sad for X amount of time. Like, it's all different. You can just be happy. You don't have to react in a certain way, and that's what's important about this documentary.
Yeah, and do you still get people, though, that question you? Do you still get it all the time?
Never ends.
And what do you say to them? Like, how do you react still all these years later?
I think it's always people that don't know the facts. They judge too quickly. They jump into accusations before knowing the full story. So you can never get offended by it, really, because they don't know.
Yeah, and you're wanting to try and question all of us on how we judge people. Like you say, you talk about anyone that goes through trauma. It's up to them how they react and deal with it. And it's important for you to start that conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why people could react differently. It could be delayed reactions, disassociation. It's not as straightforward as you have to be crying.
Well, just to remind ourselves, I mean, your kidnapper, like we say, he was known to you at that point as MD. His name was Lukasz Herba. He was sentenced to 16 years and 9 months in prison, as his brother was also sentenced to 16 years and 8 months. You certainly hoped at that point that that would be the end of it. That was the proof that everything that happened had happened. All the authorities were involved, and like we know, you were still getting question marks afterward. Hopefully this documentary does give you the close that you've been hoping for, Chloe. Are you happy in yourself now? Are you happy with how your future looks? I know actually just in a few months ago you were given an autism diagnosis, and actually that's allowed you to reset you. It's allowed you to see a new version of yourself. So how do you feel now looking ahead to the future?
It definitely gave me more patience with myself. I would get really frustrated of why I'm reacting a certain way, or, you know, I'd get frustrated with myself, but that allowed me more patience and more grace. So I feel like as challenging as the documentary was, it really did give me growth, and, you know, nothing ever comes from the comfort zone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's an incredible watch, and very tough to watch actually in times, because it's obviously a very personal story, and we see you getting upset recounting those moments. But yes, it's a really fascinating watch, and thank you so much for joining us, Chloe. Hi there, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, where we upload new videos every single day. You can click here if you're interested in this video, or head to the homepage for some more amazing content.